You clicked on this video because you have been unemployed since January and credit card bills are piling up. That is a terrifying place to be, where every missed payment feels like a personal failure and the math seems to work against you every single day. But here is the truth you need to hear right now. Standard budgeting advice will not save you, and trying to make minimum payments is actually making your situation worse. By the end of this message, I will give you a specific 3-phase emergency protocol designed to stop the bleeding, protect your legal standing, and buy you the psychological space you need to find new work. Let us start by understanding why your current approach is failing. You are likely operating under a psychological anchor that tells you to pay at least the minimum amount due on every card. Research into consumer behavior shows that this habit is deeply ingrained and often leads to prolonged debt cycles even when people are not in acute crisis. However, when you have no income, that minimum payment strategy becomes a trap. It drains your tiny emergency fund on interest and fees without actually reducing your principal balance. Because the interest rates on credit cards are so high, the money you pay goes almost entirely to the bank, not to the debt itself. This creates a self-reinforcing cycle where your financial stability deteriorates faster than your ability to generate new income. The data reveals a harsh reality about compounding interest. When you are unemployed, your consumption rate drops to zero, yet the cost of your debt continues to accelerate. You are fighting a war against a mathematical force that grows exponentially while your resources remain static. This is not a failure of your character or your work ethic. It is a systemic pressure where the cost of borrowing prevents you from accumulating any assets, creating a wealth trap that is incredibly difficult to escape without a fundamental shift in strategy. The standard advice to cut back on coffee or cancel subscriptions simply does not address the core problem of zero income against high-interest debt. Quick resource note. I keep a curated set of Amazon search links in the description for books, gear, and tools relevant to this channel's topics. Some are affiliate links, so I may earn a commission at no extra cost to you. Please consider supporting the channel by using those links if you find something useful. So, what is the solution? You need to stop trying to manage the debt and start managing the crisis. The first phase of our emergency protocol is communication. You must contact your creditors immediately. This is not about asking for a favor. It is about declaring your financial status to prevent legal escalation. Many people delay this call because they are afraid of the conversation, but silence is interpreted as an inability or unwillingness to pay. When you call, ask specifically for a hardship program or temporary forbearance. The goal here is to stop the accrual of new interest and fees. If you can get the bank to pause interest for a few months, you stop the debt from growing while you focus on finding employment. Now consider the second phase, which is liquidation. This is the most counterintuitive part of the plan. You might think you should keep all your cash to survive, but you need to create liquidity to handle immediate threats. This means identifying any non-essential assets you can sell quickly. It could be electronics, jewelry, or even a second vehicle. The purpose is not to pay off the debt in full, which is impossible right now, but to create a cash buffer. This buffer serves two critical functions. First, it covers your essential living expenses so you do not have to use credit cards for food or rent. Second, it provides you with a small amount of psychological security. Knowing you have a few $100s in your pocket changes your mindset from panic to planning. Here is the thing that most people miss about the third phase, which is negotiation. You need to understand that your credit score is not your most valuable asset right now. Recent analysis suggests that bad credit rarely prevents hiring for most non-financial roles. Employers care far more about your ability to do the job than your FICO score. This means you can prioritize income generation over credit repair in the short term. When you negotiate with creditors, do not promise to pay what you cannot afford. Instead, propose a debt management plan that is based on your current reality. If you cannot pay anything, tell them you cannot pay anything. Ask for a temporary pause on collections activity. This brings us to the legal risk mitigation aspect of this protocol. Prolonged unemployment combined with high credit utilization is a primary predictor of default. Machine learning models analyzing credit risk show that this specific demographic is at high risk of aggressive collection tactics. By proactively seeking non-bankruptcy solutions like a structured repayment plan, you can often avoid the legal escalation that comes with prolonged non-payment. You are essentially buying yourself time. Time is the most valuable resource you have right now because it allows you to interview, network, and secure a new income source without the constant distraction of collection calls. The psychological impact of this approach cannot be overstated. When you stop trying to pay the minimum and start actively managing the crisis, you reclaim a sense of agency. You are no longer a passive victim of interest rates. You are an active participant in your own financial survival. This shift in mindset is crucial because stress and anxiety can impair your ability to think clearly and perform well in job interviews. By stabilizing your immediate financial environment, you free up the mental bandwidth required to focus on finding a new job. It is important to remember that this is a temporary state. The research indicates that while consumer credit balances have surged due to inflation and tight budgets, these are systemic issues, not personal failures. The distinction between macroeconomic trends and personal behavior is vital. You are navigating a difficult economic landscape, and your strategy must reflect that reality. Do not blame yourself for the current situation. Instead, focus on the actions you can control. Contact the creditors. Liquidate assets to create a buffer. Negotiate a plan that matches your current income. As you move forward, keep in mind that the goal is not to fix your credit score today. The goal is to survive the next 3 to 6 months with your legal standing intact and your mental health preserved. Once you have secured a new job and your income is stable, you can then turn your attention to rebuilding your credit and paying down the principal balance. But you cannot do that until you have stopped the bleeding. The three-phase protocol of communication, liquidation, and negotiation is your roadmap out of this immediate crisis. You have the tools to navigate this. You have a plan that prioritizes your survival and your future over the demands of the credit industry. Take the first step today. Make that call. Sell that item. Write down your plan. The path forward is clear, even if the terrain is steep. You can get through this. Thanks for watching all the way to the end. I am a one-person team working hard to make each video better than the last. Subscribe if you found value. It is the best way to show support. Drop a comment with your biggest takeaway. See you in the next video.